Welcome to Health Bulletin. We're discussing a topic that's been buzzing in the news: bird flu. Have you noticed how egg prices have been skyrocketing lately? Or maybe you've seen headlines about bird flu spreading across poultry farms. But here's the real question: should we be worried? We'll be covering exactly what bird flu is, how did it evolve, and where is it heading? And most importantly, what does it mean for you and me? Bird flu. Essentially, it's the common name for the avian influenza strain that's been making headlines. You might also see it referred to as HPAI, which stands for highly pathogenic avian influenza, or H5N1, which actually describes the virus's surface proteins and responsible for high mortality among species. Now here's the kicker. While bird flu has long been known to affect birds, it's now being detected in animals outside that group, particularly dairy cattle. And yes, that's raising an alarm. Now you might ask, why is this such a big deal right now? Well, when a virus that primarily infects birds starts affecting other species, it signals that the virus is evolving. Public health agencies are watching closely because this ability to change and jump between species could, in theory, lead to more significant diseases in humans. It turns out that this particular strain, H5N1, has been especially virulent in cats, causing deaths in both captive big cats and even some domestic house cats. Now let's take a quick journey through the evolution of the H5N1 bird flu. Let's take a look how this virus has changed over the years. It all began back in 1996, when the highly pathogenic H5N1 virus was first identified in domestic waterfowl in southern China, famously known as August Guangdong 1, 1996. Just a year later, in 1997, poultry outbreaks in China and Hong Kong marked the virus's dangerous debut in humans, with 18 reported cases and 6 deaths in Hong Kong alone. This initial wave set the stage, eventually leading to more than 860 human infections, with a fatality rate exceeding 50%. As the years rolled on, H5N1 seemed to simmer for a while, but then, around 2003 to 2005, it re-emerged, spreading across Asia in widespread poultry outbreaks. And by 2005, wild birds carried the virus to far-flung regions like Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. During this period, the virus's hemagglutinin gene began diversifying into multiple genetic groups, or clades, signaling the start of its complex evolution. Fast forward to 2014 through 2016, and the story took an even more dramatic turn. Gene swapping between viruses in poultry and wild birds gave rise to new subtypes, H5N6 and H5N8, with the HA gene diversifying further into what we now know as clade 2.3.4.4. This clade spread across Asia, Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and even North America, with various neuraminidase gene combinations making their appearances in the US, among other places. Then, between 2018 and 2020, these newer variants, H5N6 and H5N8, became the dominant players, effectively replacing the original H5N1 strains. By 2022, there were over 70 reported H5N6 human infections and 7 H5N8 cases, as clade 2.3.4.4b emerged and became the predominant strain across multiple continents. Most recently, from 2021 to 2023, a new chapter unfolded when a variant of H5N1 belonging to clade 2.3.4.4b was detected in wild birds in both Canada and the United States. This new strain, adapted with a wild bird N1 gene, began causing outbreaks in US commercial and backyard poultry by early 2022, with rare, sporadic infections also reported in humans and other mammals. So, what does all this mean? Essentially, the evolution of H5N1 over nearly 3 decades shows us just how adaptive and unpredictable these viruses can be. Now you might be wondering, how exactly does it all spread? In case of birds, the virus typically moves through contact with nasal secretions or other bodily fluids from sick or dead birds. While in dairy cows, it seems to spread via infected milk and nasal secretions, causing conditions like mastitis that impact milk quality. And here's an interesting point. Humans can also play a role as vectors. For example, if someone working with these animals doesn't follow proper hygiene, they might inadvertently carry the virus from one location to another. But don't worry, human-to-human transmission hasn't been a factor so far. Preventive measures vary depending on the species involved. Poultry and dairy farms are ramping up biosecurity protocols, such as limiting visitors, isolating infected animals, and even depopulating to prevent further spread. For individuals, basic personal protective equipment like gloves, face shields, and masks can go a long way, especially for those working in these environments. As we watch these changes unfold, it's clear that our understanding and our preparedness must evolve as well. And this is why keeping an eye on these developments is so crucial. It not only fuels our scientific curiosity, but also serves as a reminder of the importance of robust public health measures in a world where a tiny virus can have such a massive impact. In the end, the best advice is simple: stay informed, practice good hygiene, and don't let panic take over. Bird flu is a dynamic situation, and while it certainly has the potential to impact various species, current measures are in place to keep things under control. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more essential news that shapes our future.